You constantly chat about the other team's players. Get at it online. Hi guys, and welcome back to another week of TFW. This is the footballing show dominated by your opinions in a weekend which saw the Premier League come to a close, the Serie A title wound up, and unfortunately a few teams were relegated. But anyway, let's move on to the first one. This opinion comes from Forrest Pope, who has said, who would potentially have a bigger impact if transferred? Jadon Sancho to Manchester United or Kai Havertz to Chelsea? Thanks a lot from Texas. Ooh, two big transfers. And funny enough, two transfers I think that'll actually happen. The Sancho to United thing, there's way too much talk about it for it certainly not to at least be on the table. And it seems that these days clubs are pretty good at sorting out the player deal before they are speaking to the club. United are in the Champions League now after the weekend's football, so are Chelsea. Who would have a bigger impact? I'm gonna say Sancho. Now, the reason is I feel like I can see where Sancho fits into the United team straight off the bat. He comes in, he goes onto the right wing, he's in a 4-3-3 or a 4-2-3-1, actually with Bruno Fernandes at number 10. This is just, it's his thing. He knows how to play there, he's played in that position, everything's fine. At Chelsea, there's still a question mark how they're actually going to play next season. Never mind where Havertz would fit into the team. Personally, I think that Chelsea will go to a back four. Especially if they sign a brand new left back, so it will be a brand new left back. Reece James has had a brilliant breakthrough season at Chelsea. Most likely like Tomori and Rudiger at centre back. I don't see them going with a back three, which then means, and also with the other players like Ziyech and Werner coming in, I can see them going with a front three, which means that Havertz may be a little bit deeper in the midfield three. Not sure he'll be a strict number 10. So yeah, just for that reason, I feel like Sancho may initially have a bigger impact. That's not to say Havertz won't be brilliant, because I think he will, he's a brilliant player. I just think initial impact, Sancho will be better. Tough for Games has said, how much of an impact will Mbappe's injury affect PSG's Champions League hopes? I actually started to feel sorry for PSG. Like every time you think they're going to have a good run in the competition, and bam, a big injury. 2 years in a row for Neymar, and now they're thinking, yes, we're going to do it. Neymar's fine. Mbappe gets scythed down, I think is the word to use. So that tackle in the final against Saint Etienne over the weekend, that was a nasty tackle. So apparently he's got a sprained ankle. Sorry, a sprained right ankle even. Well, it is right sprained. And the game against Atalanta in the quarterfinals is in a few weeks' time. Now, if you're being brutally honest, considering Atalanta's defence, you would say that PSG have enough. Now, Atalanta in attack, that's a whole different kettle of fish. I would think ever so slightly PSG would be favourites, but that's ever so slightly. And I think even without Mbappe, they should have enough to definitely put themselves in a good position against Atalanta. Of course, it's only one leg, so things can happen. I think it will affect them. I think it will affect them not to the point where, look, if PSG lose, there's no way you can point the finger at Mbappe for being injured. And not blame him and say that's the entire reason. They've got enough quality in the rest of the squad, especially with Neymar, that they should be winning as well. I know those are going to point to the fact that Atalanta have got, 90 odd goals this season. Yes, I'm very well aware they're very good this season. I still think PSG are slight favourites. Aqua Mazena said David Silva should have won at least PFA Player of the Year award. What a player he is, and doing it for 10 years, he's top 3 Premier League legends of all time. He was crying after his last Prem game as a City fan. No wonder, he's been a brilliant servant. Do you mean Player of the Year award at least once in the last 10 years or this year? Because this year he shouldn't have won it. Henderson shouldn't have won it. Kevin De Bruyne was by far and away the best player in the Premier League. So I don't agree with this year. Over the 10 years, I tell you, I couldn't even rattle off the last 10 winners of the Premier League Player of the Year award. Look, if there's been a better player than David Silva for each individual season, then no, he shouldn't have won it. It's like when everyone says, oh, look at Iniesta's career, should have won a Ballon d'Or. Yeah, but it's not done on career, it's done on one season. And season by season, Ronaldo or Messi was better than him every single season. So, yeah. He could have won it once, Silva. Certainly you would think that someone who had such a fantastic career over 10 years probably would have done. But the fact he didn't doesn't mean that he didn't deserve it. There was probably just a player better than him at the time. Chief K91 has said Liverpool versus Man City should be on the same level as El Clasico and Der Clasica. In terms of them fighting for the title, maybe, but they need to do it for a longer period. The whole reason that Bayern Dortmund and Real Madrid Barcelona is so big is because the history between the two clubs. the fact they're both going for the same titles every single season, especially with Real Madrid, Barcelona, the biggest players, the biggest teams in their league, I don't think Liverpool Man City has the ingredients for that. It has the ingredients for a good rivalry whilst they're both at the top. But this rivalry, well, this is the second year they've been competing for the title. So I'm not entirely sure that would definitely put them up there with the El Clasico standards of football. Maybe if they do it for the next 5 or 6 years, but no, certainly not yet. Luca Magic next up says, let's give some credit to Mourinho for Tottenham finishing in a European place. Yes, I agree. That made me look super biased, but who cares? After the bad start and the many injuries during the season. Yeah, you know what? When Mourinho came in, I thought, great, look at his CV, proven winner. Having seen some of the football Spurs play, I was a little bit disappointed, but Pochettino left Tottenham in 13th or 14th, I believe, and Mourinho took them to 6th place. You know, everyone's banging on about how good a season Sheffield United and Wolves have had, right? And how Arteta's got Arsenal heading in the right direction, and they all finished below Spurs. So yeah, massive props to Mourinho on that. That's all I'm going to say before there's loads of hateful comments. Next up, Jay Godson said Aston Villa should sack Dean Smith and get a new manager to improve them. This I actually agree with. Oh, hold on. I knocked my mic. Not because I think he's a terrible manager, but I think Aston Villa, especially, they spent 100 million last summer in the transfer window. That should have brought a better improvement. You look at Chris Wilder, who brought Sheffield United up and had a great season, like I just mentioned. And yeah, if you're spending 100 million and then you're spending however much more this summer, you know, they're probably going to get some money if they sell Jack Grealish and so on and so forth. They can't be fighting relegation every year. There is no way that having spent £100 million and once you stay in the Premier League, like now, that they can accept getting a point on the final day to just beat relegation. That's not good enough for the money spent and for the quality of player that Aston Villa have got. So yeah, I would say they could get a new manager. If they're not going to sack him, you know, obviously they'll give him another chance, another transfer window. But I would say if Aston Villa do poorly next season and they're in the relegation zone for a long time, questions have to be asked. It wouldn't be surprising if he was one of the ones who left. Lokesh just said, Matt, do you think Watford will lose some star players like Sarr, Doucouré and De La Feu now they've been relegated? Yes. Absolutely. I didn't think Watford were good enough. These individual players you mentioned are very good, at very good age, and I'd be amazed if players of their quality were like, you know what, I'll stick it out in the Championship for one season and see if we can bring Watford back up. That is a risk that a lot of players have taken, and once you don't, other top clubs, Premier League, European clubs, will see you as the player that is of Championship level because you didn't get Watford back up to the Premier League. Obviously, it's a team game, but as these guys who you said are the main guys in the team, I can imagine they'd leave. Doucouré especially. Doucouré I can see leaving. De La Feu will probably go back to Barcelona because that's what he does like every other year. That's a joke, by the way. He's not going to Barcelona. They're not that bad. And Sarr's got a pretty good future. So yeah, I think a few clubs would take a punt on Sarr for sure. Ayan Subban has said Immobile should be in the top 10 if the Ballon d'Or wasn't cancelled. I'm not gonna lie, this happened last week and I saw it. I'm so happy the Ballon d'Or isn't happening this year. Not because of whoever would have won it, just so we can talk about actual football and not stupid awards off the pitch. I'm delighted. He has scored 34 in 35 games. He'll probably break the Serie A goal scoring record. Yes, he will. He's a very good striker. He's probably in the top 10, but there's no Ballon d'Or this year. So we'll cancel that. Lastly but not least, Balad Banco has said, Vinicius is better than Fati. Why do I feel like this is a strong Real Madrid? See, this is how you get to our Clasico levels for you Liverpool Man City fans. You constantly chat about the other team's players. Get at it online. Vinicius is better than Fati. Fati does have more goals than Vinicius, but Vinicius is more crucial to Real Madrid than Fati is to Barca. Well, that's just an opinion. I'm not sure the statements to back that up. And just because someone's more crucial doesn't mean they're better. Grealish is more crucial to Villa than, I don't know, Dele Alli is to Spurs or something like that, but Andy might still be better. Fati also has Messi playing behind him, who has 21 assists this season, while Vinicius has Benzema, who has 8 assists. That means nothing. They're assisting to other players as well. Vinicius doesn't get as many chances because of this. Well, you've just missed out all the good Real Madrid players who provide assists. Fati is a good player, but Vinicius is better. I tend not to agree. I've got a couple of stats here because I saw this one. So you're talking about chances and whatever. Vinicius has 3 goals from 38 shots, maybe shots on target, this season. Fati has 7 from 33. That would tell me that Fati's better at taking his chances. And although it's not just about goals, that's exactly what you've pinpointed here by saying Vinicius doesn't get as many chances. Well, he does, actually. He gets more chances than Fati. He just does not take them at a better rate. I'm not saying that makes him better or worse. I just think that's quite a limp argument if you're going to say that he's definitely better than Ansu Fati. Anyway, that is all, though, from today's TFW and from my trusty iPad. I forgot to mention that at the start. Anyway, thank you so much for all of your opinions. As always, every Sunday night in the YouTube community tab is where you can find the post where you leave your opinions for TFW. That is all from me, though. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, I'll see you guys later. Hold on, I never know how to turn this off.